Video games don't always make you work harder for a happy ending. Some of the darkest endings are sometimes the toughest to find, and we've put together a list of 20 secret or obscure, just plain miserable endings. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on GameRanq's 20 evil endings in games you didn't know existed. Starting off with number 20, it's Baldur's Gate 3. This game has the evil endings market cornered. It's got more evil endings per capita than any other game on this list. And the developers keep adding more of them. After release, a big patch added even more twisted, dark endings that you're probably never going to see. And there's just too many to talk about here. You can slaughter your own party members, like as the embodiment of murder in the Dark Urge character path. It's an option you can choose when starting the game, but things get more interesting when you delve deeper. You can romance the main villain of the game, for instance, a squid monster emperor that's been whispering ideas into your messed up brain for 50 plus hours. That's a dark turn, but it's hardly the darkest. No, if you really want to be as bad as you can play it like that one weird guy nobody liked when you played Dungeons and Dragons that one time. You can be chaotic evil. At the end of the game, you can turn the people of Baldur's Gate into gibbering madmen that simply attack each other for no reason at all, spreading a wave of pointless violence across the Sword Coast and beyond your own expectations. Just for your own sick amusement, you know.
Join me. Thrall!
From an emotional perspective, it's not quite as bad as sleeping with your party members and snapping their necks, but killing entire cities of people and washing the streets in blood for no discernible reason definitely ranks up there with the worst endings we've found. Let's see if we can find worse, though. And number 19, the Dead Space remake. The darkest ending here is only available in New Game Plus. The new collectible markers have been scattered all over the Ishimura in this mode, and kind of a bonus quest, I guess, in case you're a dedicated secret hunter. Of course, finding the symbol that spreads the necromorphs, the grotesque undead aliens, is Scream in the Dead Space series. Oh, they scream. Don't try to sleep. Forget the fact that they're murderous. They're also loud. After finding all the markers and completing the game, you're given a little ending where our protagonist, Isaac, hangs out in a ship covered in spooky maker runes, talks to his dead imaginary girlfriend about building something and taking it to Earth. That essentially means wiping out humanity with a gross, long-armed zombie monster infestation. Not a happy ending, but at least Isaac looks pretty happy for once. His ghost girlfriend seems to approve too. It's a lot of work to unlock, but we love it when remakes sneak in weird new little inclusions like that, even if we're probably never going to get a Dead Space sequel set on Earth. And number 18 is Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. One of the best endings in a Call of Duty campaign. It's a secret. In this twisty 80s thriller, your allegiances are blurred by a conspiracy plot, bunch of weird sci-fi concepts like mind control. Late in the game, your main character learns they're actually an enemy agent that's been abducted by the good guys and put through MK Ultra, which is, by the way, real. Look into it. If you consider that mind control, it's definitely not a sci-fi concept. Look at all the declassified information about that stuff. It's effing crazy. Anyway, you've been fighting for your sworn enemies, but you're still expected to do the right thing by the end and stop nuclear Armageddon. But hey, what if you're still mad about the whole kidnapping and brainwashing thing? Right before the end, you can sneak into a locked section of the hub and use a computer to contact your former friends. Doing this sets up a final confrontation with your team where you shoot dead some long-running Call of Duty campaign characters like Woods. It's a little shocking, simply off main characters without any fanfare. But the betrayal isn't even the worst part. Working with your buddies, the rogue agents, set off nuclear bombs stashed in every major city of Europe. There's a whole lot of no man's land, and well, this is not the canonical ending to Black Ops 6. It's pretty cool.
Mr. President, does anyone know the bombs were ours?
Materials related to Operation Greenlight were anonymously released an hour ago, presumably by Perseus. Calls are beginning to come in from across the globe.
That son of a bitch.
And number 17 is Tekken Tag Tournament 2, infamous for its endings, the Tekken series. But one of our favorites is absolutely evil on both the micro and macro level. The lavish CGI scenes in Tekken Tag Tournament 2 are so numerous, even mega fans like us haven't seen them at all. And who would even bother trying to learn a big joke character like True Ogre? Like, his ending's it's not worth it. I'm not learning him. So by completing the arcade mode with True Ogre, we're treated to a POV of a cameraman walking through a burning empty city. Rumbling in the distance scares our cameraman, turning to face a gargantuan version of Ogre that towers over the city like Godzilla. The camera cuts off as flames engulf the city street and just destroy the camera. It's a nice quick ending that gives us everything we want to see. City-sized destruction and personal stakes with our little guy representing us. He flees to an unknown fate. That's the kind of economy of storytelling we can get behind. And number 16 is Elden Ring. Why would you save the dying world when you can burn it? That's a pretty common secret. It'd be nice if I could talk, right? This is how you know it's not AI, though. That's why we leave it in. What was I saying? Dark Souls games always let you burn it all. That's common, okay? It's a common secret ending. But our favorite comes from the Frenzied Flame. This dark power is rewarded by a gross three-fingered hand monster at the bottom of a very dark tomb full of dead bodies, frozen in twisted agony. Just reaching the lair of the three fingers is a deranged experience. It's full of evil energy, but unleashing the pent-up flame is the best part. Going through the secret tomb, players had to carefully drop down a giant, seemingly bottomless pit. It's a staple of Dark Souls game design. Take off all your clothes, enter a door, get grossly handled by a gnarly trio of fingers. Yeah, fingers. Once branded, players could take the Elden Throne and destroy it all in a glorious explosion of insane fire. Sounds passé when we explain it like that. Your head becomes a glowing sun, spreading eye-gouging insanity to the lens between. Turning into a drooling maniac is the fate of all Dark Souls game protagonists, and at least we get to choose it ourselves this time. At number 15 is Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty. One of the darkest betrayals in video games comes right at the end of Phantom Liberty. Compared to other games on this list, it's downright pedestrian in its evilness, though. It's the betrayal that matters here, because you turning on Songbird at the last possible second with escape just a step away, it's a totally viable evil option. Actually, maybe evil isn't even the right word. Maybe selfish. For one of the endings, you can choose to help the desperate new United States cyberware weapon Songbird escape to the moon. After fighting through squads of heavily armed super soldiers, you'll drag a weakened Songbird into the spaceship flight deck. That's where you'll confront companion Reed and get one last chance to help Songbird. As it turns out, she can't help with your death problem. Weird piece of technology slowly killing you. That's the main plot. So you can choose to ditch Songbird and rejoin the good old new United States instead at the last second. You'll turn your tragic companion over to the evil president and her secret black whale project, essentially ensuring the Songbird will be kept underground and experimented on for the rest of her life in the worst ways possible.
So me. Sorry, forgive me, but I can't. Made a promise.
A promise? Again. You go with his.
No. Wanna believe I'm giving you another chance. So I won't do it, Somi. I can't. I won't.
You betray your friend on all the promises that the government will fix you, and if you continue with that ending, you'll learn that Reed lied too. Sure, the surgery fixes you, but it also strips your character of their cyberware, which does give you the most depressing ending in the game. Was it worth it? And number 14 is Look Outside. Curiosity killed the cat. That saying has never been more true than the indie Lovecraftian horror game Look Outside. It's a game that gives you a tantalizing glimpse of cosmic horror. All you have to do is look outside. You might not like what you see. If you manage to complete all the steps of the true ritual before the 15 days pass, your character gets a look outside and encounters the alien visitor that's turning planet Earth into an apocalyptic mass of swirling madness. The giant eye of the visitor, once confronted, seems pretty embarrassed about the destruction it's accidentally caused the human race. Just looking at this monster causes people to change forever in impossible ways, and every transformation is different. The darkest twist comes after talking to the visitor. The being from beyond asks if you'd like to perceive its true form, and like the dummies we are, we say yes. We don't want to spoil all of Look Outside here, but we can say this is easily one of the most evil ones on the list. Perceiving the final boss doesn't just break your brain, it also leads to the utter extinction of humanity as a species. The Earth is forever destroyed because you just had to peek. You couldn't keep your eyes shut for just a few seconds. Even if the whole world is at stake, couldn't do it. Couldn't keep it in your pants. Well, we don't blame you. It's one ending everybody needs to see at least once. And number 13 is Alone in the Dark, the remake from 2024 specifically. It's more a three-dimensional spin on Lovecraft than Look Outside, but it's one that doesn't quite come together as well as we'd like. The best part of the game is at the very end, when the mystery of the weird house is revealed. All the characters you met are crazy cult members that worship the goat of 1,000 young. The big tree in the greenhouse roars to life in a bloody showdown that is more Resident Evil than creeping terror. Luckily, that's the kind of thing we like. And one dark ending has our favorite character turning to the dark side. Instead of fighting the evil presence of the old gods, Carnby gives himself to the cult. Seeing the friendly sheriff from Stranger Things chew scenery as a monster-loving crazy man is a rare delight.
No, Emily. I get it now. She needed me to break the pact. She needed me to bring her grace. I did everything for her. I just realized I belong here. I'm one of her young.
What are you saying?
You'll have to run, Emily. You'll have to run!
And we're hoping more actors get to the completely ridiculous, non-canon part of acting at some point. It isn't clear if sacrificing people to the goat of 1,000 young is a world-ending problem or not, but we're going to assume it's not good for anyone, so it's going in the evil camp. And number 12 is Atomfall. In the recent open-world action game Atomfall, every ending is an optional ending. There is seemingly no true ending, but one of the more difficult ones, also a little more twisted, means working for the faction that's embracing change a little too quickly. Located in the deep Casterfell woods, a faction of devoted maniacs called the Druids are huffing blue infection and hearing voices in their heads. The voices want them to spread the strange infection as far as possible, and while the game doesn't explicitly state what's going on, we're left with a pretty distinct impression. This is an alien invasion. The source of the blue fungus is a meteorite called Oberon. If you choose, you can help the kindly vendor. You'll be sent to a creepy grotto to commune with the dead and learn that the Druids don't want to kill Oberon like everyone else. They want the alien to flourish. And to do that, you spray the creature with growth hormones. That way, the monsters from deep space can grow extra quickly and will help the rest of humanity join the collective. Like other endings, we're helping the enemy take over everything for absolutely no good reason. Evil can be its own reward. And number 11 is Lords of the Fallen. We've talked about the evil ending for Dark Souls ripoff, Lords of the Fallen more than one time, but this is one of the hardest to get endings we've ever unlocked, so you're going to hear about it. The only reason you know this ending exists is because we've referenced it, and it's such a pain to earn yourself, nobody should go out of their way to do it. You're basically ruining your own game by doing this, and you can ruin it permanently. By sacrificing friendly characters to a dark umbral god in Lords of the Fallen, you get the always popular ending that summons the unseen evil into the living world, where it devours all life forever. This sort of thing keeps happening in video games, but it's the personal touch we love in this one. You gotta personally deliver killing items to the characters you didn't even know you could kill. It's a long, very involved process that's hard to explain, but for every soul you sacrifice to the putrid mother monster, which is only accessible in a secret dungeon, you'll be able to swing closer to her and pay final tribute. By the end, you have to sacrifice your own level up NPC. Yeah, the one that levels you up. That one. Totally removing every useful function of the hub. If you can't beat the super hard secret final boss, you have to start the entire run over from the beginning. If that isn't evil, I don't know what is. At number 10, it's Faith, the Unholy Trilogy. Video games have a lot of monsters from beyond time and space. Faith might be a more religious take, but it's still the same concept. Unknowable creatures are coming, and instead of fighting them like a sensible person, you can throw it all the way for the evil ending. In the longest version of the game, you can give up at the very last minute by choosing to just not investigate the daycare, the final location of the cult trying to bring about the profane Sabbath. When your renegade priest arrives, you can simply get back in your car and drive away and abandon the mission. After a nightmare, you return to your home the final day to notice a few things are a little different. Strange men are waiting outside. The music's intensely ominous. Your neighbors aren't doing too well. Your basement's infested by a giant-faced centipede demon. There's a satanic hole in your background. By the end, you're chosen as a new vessel for the unspeakable. At least, it totally looks like that's what happened. There's definitely one ending that gives the evil vibes, and it's one we had no idea existed until now. At number 9, it's Outer Wilds. The most convoluted evil endings come from the chill space exploration game Outer Wilds. To get this ending, you basically have to complete both endings at the same time, the one from the base game and the one from the expansion. There's a lot to explain, so I'll try to keep it simple. In the Outer Wilds, you have 20 minutes to explore the solar system before your star goes supernova and wipes everything out. You're trapped in a time loop, and your goal is to finally escape the cycle. To get the most evil ending of the game, you can forsake everything and everyone by taking the Ash Twin Warp Core and ending the time loop. But instead of progressing to the normal ending, you can fly directly to the enormous and hidden Stranger Ship. In this ship, there's fires that lead to an artificial dream world. You can lock yourself into the dream by stepping into one of these fires and holding an artifact. You'll die here and enter the dream at the same time. Now that there's no time loop and you have nobody to wake yourself up with, you're always trapped in the dream forever. You get to have your own private infinite life at the expense of everyone else. You probably go insane after a few millennia, but that's the price you pay for a weird, super secret evil ending. At number 8 is Fallout New Vegas, one of the darkest endings ever. Isn't even in the base version of Fallout New Vegas. We're looking deeper. The most evil ending you can earn is actually the infamous Dead Money DLC. That's where you can find it. Instead of fighting evil Father Elijah, former Brotherhood of Steel elder, looking to settle the score with other factions by destroying all civilization in the Mojave Desert, you can team up with him. At the end of the attempted heist and the Sierra Madre Casino, you can betray literally everyone and everything by teaming up with Elijah and choosing to stay in the sealed pre-war paradise of the bunker. You and your new buddy release the red frog that's pumped through the streets of the Sierra Madre, the red fog, not frog. I think I said frog there. But the red fog's super dangerous. It's a chemical compound, eats through any hazmat suit, and turns the infected into deranged killers. The unkillable ghost people that protect the casino were created by the same mist, and you'll wipe out everything in the Mojave Wasteland with this combination. Invincible monsters and an infinite supply of killer mist. That's a classic example of an evil video game ending.
In the years that followed, the legend of the Sierra Madre faded, and there were no new visitors to the city. Years later, when a mysterious blood-red cloud began to roll across the Mojave, then west toward the Republic, no one knew where it had come from. Only that it brought death in its wake. Attempts to find the source of the toxic cloud failed.
And number 7 is Atomic Heart. It's one of the most willfully ignorant endings you can achieve in a video game. After experiencing a cavalcade of horrors in Facility 3826, learning the truth behind an evil project called the Collective 2.0, and fighting an army of horrors, your main character can still cover his eyes, plug his ears, and pretend everything's fine. At the very end of the game, you're prepared to hunt down the architect of everything that went wrong in the facility, Dr. Sechenov, and try to end the robot uprising that destroyed the alternate reality Soviet Union. You can go in guns blazing or petulantly refuse. In one of the goofiest endings on this list, your big FPS hero forgets everything he's learned through his 20-plus hour journey and decides to just give up right before the end. rips the whole polymer glove out of his hand, and he goes home.
You're making a mistake!
Stop squirming, you asshole!
Everyone around him is baffled by this decision, but we love that it's a decision you can make. Sometimes we're sick of letting objective markers dictate what we do in games, right? Sometimes we just want to say no, even if it makes no logical sense. It's always nice when games let us feel just a little more in control, even if we're gonna load a save and do the real ending next.
There. That's better.
At number 6 is Deltarune. Less an ending and more an evil path. Deltarune Chapter 2 gives us one of the weirdest evil endings in video games. In the second part of this cute RPG Maker indie, you'll get the ice-based Noelle party member. She's naturally positive, she's an optimistic person, refuses to see the bad in anybody, so we're gonna make her snap. We're gonna do everything she doesn't want. Yeah, you backtrack when she asks you to stop, keep freezing enemies, unleash the mythical Snowgrave spell, even as Noelle claims she doesn't know it. Doing this ending path is one of the most convoluted things on this list. You can't miss a single enemy with freeze, and you have to get multiple rings and equip them on Noelle at very specific points. Doing anything wrong or choosing not to proceed will end the route. The entire world changes into a dark version with lower pitched music and lots of assets removed, making it feel like a colder, emptier place. Instead of solving puzzles the fun way, you command Noelle to freeze them against her will. It all gives creepypasta vibes, like we're seeing something we're not meant to see. Maybe it's not the most evil ending on this list, but it's one of the most cursed. At number 5 is Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. We're gonna do that one very odd, very specific evil ending. The Swarm That Walks ending is one of the most disastrous in Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, making you officially worse than the monsters you're fighting. One of the weird origin paths you can take is this one, and the ending's so rare, it's filled with weird bugs and weird mechanics. Nothing is explained. For the most evil ending, you actually have to show some mercy. Interesting. During a side quest to investigate demonic bugs, you choose to keep Weird Bug Queen alive instead of executing it. This is required. Keeping it alive is not as nice as it seems. Not exactly a good deed. After running a failed experiment, you can return to the demonic bug infestation much later to consume the fully grown queen and take her power for yourself. Yep, it's a Highlander situation with the bug. But this causes all of your companions to leave. Everyone. The swarm only wants to consume, and the entire city of Dresden becomes an infested hotbed. Instead of making allies and fighting a normal war, all you do from this point is consume and increase the size of your swarm. This allows you to become exponentially more powerful, becoming far stronger alone than you were with a full team. The ending completely changes the gameplay of Pathfinder, taking away all the general management features and turning it into cosmic horror. Even the enemies of your enemy team fight back against the unstoppable swarm. Now that's an evil ending. And number 4 is Heavy Rain. Meme fodder for a reason. This game has one of the funniest evil endings you can achieve, and it's only available if you already know the big twist, which we're going to spoil now. One of the playable characters, Detective Shelby, is the origami killer. It takes a long time before you realize this, so for a lot of the game, you're actively working against Shelby's interests while you're playing as Shelby. If you want to change all that, you can literally take the reins and force everyone to work together to help Shelby escape. Yes, Shelby can get away scot-free if you make perfect choices throughout the full story, which is frankly insane. We're basically letting a child killer escape by making our cast of characters act in a way that they wouldn't normally act, all for the benefit of a big square-faced weirdo. You can play so badly that none of the characters ever find the warehouse where Scott is keeping his latest victim. Throughout the game, Father Ethan has to play sadistic games to get clues, and you can fail at all of them. If the stars align, Scott Shelby can walk away a free man. Even if characters do reach the warehouse, Scott can still walk away. For the perfect ending, you can even kill all the good guys and help Shelby escape, giving a serial killer a reprieve so that he can keep drowning people. Oh, that's an evil ending.
I've suffered just as much as my victims.
I've finished your damn trials. Now give me back my son!
He's there. All you have to do is open that grate.
At number 3 is Mortal Kombat 11. Even the DLC characters get endings in Mortal Kombat 11. The fighting game added big cameos with a K, like the Terminator, Spawn, Rambo, but the darkest is probably the Joker. Taken directly from the developers' Injustice games, the Joker's a big problem and a perfect fit for Mortal Kombat's darkly funny, disgusting content with a K. You can play through arcade mode, which oddly enough has a C smack dab in the middle of it, and beat the final boss with the Joker to gain dominion over all time, giving Joker the power to visit any timeline and reshape it to his own chaotic evil whims. After wiping everything out in the normal universe, including Johnny Cage with a C for shame, and his lovable ninja mime character, we've reintroduced one of the dumbest characters in Mortal Kombat, and that's really saying something. Havik is the avatar of the Chaos Realm, where everyone goes and does everything completely backwards because they're deeply silly. And is that a cameo from Suhao? One of the worst playable characters in Mortal Kombat history? Man, the Joker's a madman, bringing back characters from the darkest, dumbest period of MK. And number 2 is Batman Arkham City. More Batman-centric quickie before we get to the end. In Arkham City, you play as Catwoman while the title city descends into chaos after Doctor Strange initiates his plan to purge the prison. Batman is incapacitated in the Joker's steel mill fortress, and Catwoman's the only character close enough to save the day and help Batman end the madness. You can also just follow your cat instincts and just leave. Like, I can't think of a bigger crime than betraying superhero dad Batman, especially with that silky voice performance from Kevin Conroy in all the Arkham games.
It's all right. You're safe.
You're lucky. I could have killed you with this thing.
Believe me, Doctor. When someone takes a swing at me with a pipe, they don't get the chance to apologize.
If you choose to leave Batman behind, you're escaping with the treasure, but forsaking Gotham for a few bucks. Doctor Strange and Ra's al Ghul get to perpetuate their evil schemes in new cities, while the Joker is on the loose with Clayface. That's an evil formula, pretty much any character. But this evil ending has origins in the Catwoman character. She's a flighty burglar, so it makes perfect sense she might access her base instincts, just leave. Luckily, to preserve canon, she averts catastrophe and saves Batman in the end, instead of committing a feline. Oh, Catwoman.
Figured you could use my help.
You're right. I think I chipped a nail back there.
You stick with the brooding. I'll handle the wisecracks.
And finally, at number 1 is Stalker 2. Stalker 2 has such a confusing narrative. It's not clear exactly what ending is best and what ending is worst, but we do know which is the most evil. Instead of working with any of the factions, you can throw up your hands and go for the hardest ending possible. Just shoot them all. At the very end of the game, you can hold the fate of the zone in your hands, and instead of choosing an ideology, you can choose pure chaos by taking out the leaders of the military faction, the rebels, the former characters of the previous games like Straylock. Oh, and Straylock is the playable character from the first Stalker, so you're essentially taking yourself out at the end, which leads easily to the most difficult battle of the game. And what's the purpose of betraying everybody? I don't really know. These characters are full of forgiveness for you. Even at the very end, some characters will still forgive you and let you switch sides to help them, but we slapped all those olive branches away and burned every bridge to get an ending we don't fully understand. That's Stalker 2 in a nutshell.
They got me pretty good. If it wasn't for you...
We don't really know what we're doing or why, but we're still shooting a whole lot, and that's all for the day. Some of these endings are counterintuitive, stupid, or plain lazy, but they're all evil in their own little ways. What do you think? Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription, so click subscribe. Don't forget to enable notifications, and as always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter and book me on Cameo at Falcon the Hero, and we'll see you next time right here on GameRanks.